Hello and welcome to the first episode of Judging Life. I'm your host, Judge Davis. I'm joined by my good friend, Isaac Davis McLean,
Hello.
and my other good friend, Reese Sedgley.
Hello.
Today, we're going to be talking about racism. As you all are probably more than aware, on the 25th of May this year, George Floyd was arrested and murdered by a police officer who knelt on his neck 8 minutes and 46 seconds, in which for 2 minutes of that, George Floyd was already unresponsive. So I think before we go into the whole racism debate, we're going to have a quick talk about the police brutality. Now, it's good that the racism has, been brought up, but in terms of the police side and what's happened, not justifying it, it's not good. Of course, George Floyd didn't deserve to lose his life.
No.
He probably was a criminal. Isaac sent us a video, stating some things about him, but it doesn't mean he deserved to lose his life.
Of course.
However, does it necessarily mean that police officer was racist, or was it just an abuse of power?
Well, unless we hear him speak realistically, we ain't gonna know that question.
No.
But I don't know. It's one of them. We can't speak for the guy himself. He's got a long list of history, but there's no proof there to say that it was a racial attack. Personally, but I don't think the police brutality thing is necessarily a problem with just black people anyway. I don't think that's I think there is racist police, but that's not a police issue necessarily. That's just like a people issue.
Yeah. Now, of course, I mean, like you say, it's just a people issue. That you're gonna have racist people in every industry. It's just he shouldn't have that much power. I mean, what do you think, Reese?
So I think you can only look at the facts, really. You can't go into the guy's brain and know whether he's a racist or not. You can only look at the facts and what you've seen on the video. So basically, from what you see on the video, it's him kneeling. Well, what you don't see on the video is the other two cops on the other kneeling on his chest and his legs or whatever. But on the video, you just see him kneeling on the neck. Now, if he's doing it for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, that's just to be fair, that's just extreme. To me says that, to be honest, I do want to kill you. And you've got people in front of you screaming at you, telling you that he can't breathe. Him telling you can't breathe. But whether it's a racial murder, we don't really know that. But it has spiked up the racism, and I'm happy that it has, because racism is an issue, and some people seem to think it's disappeared, but it hasn't. So
yes, so I'm going to throw a couple of statistics at you, and then we'll get onto the protest side. So in the USA, you got a 25% higher chance of dying as a white criminal. And in 2019, these are both based off 2019, 9 unarmed black men were killed by police, 19 white, and the police are 18% more likely to be killed by a black man than the other way around. So to me, my opinion is, of course, racism is an issue, and it's good that it's flagged up the racism issue and systematic racism, and the police and the governments, I think, have racist people in them, but it's because it's a people problem. The police issue,
it's not. Yeah.
Personally, it's more just a power thing. That's just power, and then because of the fact that, here's another statistic: 50% of all crimes in America are by black men, even though they only make up 6% of the population. You're not surprised the police are a bit edgy with them, but then they abuse but then the racism will, not necessarily racism, but the abuse of power will come out then once they have them in that position.
Yeah.
Whether it's, as you see, Isaac's just dropped out. Guys, for people watching, we are doing this on Discord because, obviously, as you all are fully aware, unless you've been living on Mars, there's been a pandemic going on. We just wanted to get this going so much that we thought, you know what, let's just get it going on Discord. So if we do have the odd connection issues, we we
Yeah,
apologize. We apologize. I don't know
Yeah,
how else
yeah,
to
we're
say
doing
it.
the best we can, basically.
But we just wanted to just get going, provide you, if anything, now's the time to do it. So you've got something to listen to while you're in lockdown. So if we've got to do it over Discord, over Zoom for you all, that's what we're going to do, people, because we're here to talk. But yeah, so I think the police issue, it's more a power issue than a racism issue. However, it is good that it's brought up the racism issue
Yeah, of
because
course.
it shouldn't take someone dying for people to protest about racism and kick off about it and suddenly realize, oh, racism. It should happen. This should be going on anyway, every day. And that's why I say to people, we'll see if in a couple of weeks you're still,
this is
Yeah.
And
Go.
I had a girl. I had a girl say to me, and then I will move to one of you. Sorry, the hardest thing for people is thinking it doesn't exist anymore just because they don't experience it and see it.
That's a big thing. That's a big thing.
And so, going off that quote, like, why are people racist? Why is racism a thing? You know,
Right. So going back to the police thing from what you said before, again, it's not that all police are racist. Like, that's not what we're saying at all. It's a people issue. It's the fact.
but that's what
it is.
Why?
It is.
So I think.
Sorry, Carrie.
Yeah. So I think that racism is. Don't take this the wrong way, but in a way, it's a bit. It's a basically stupidity. So you're looking at someone in a different way to you because of their ethnicity or their skin color.
I do apologise, and I know, guys, for people who don't know, we've made our rules. We shouldn't interrupt. But if anyone was offended by Reece saying that racism is stupidity, you are stupid.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but you're stupid because, like, let's just get this straight, right? We are all human beings, right? George is a human being. I'm a human being. I'm basically white and he's brown, right? We are still both human beings. I'm not going to treat George any differently to how I would treat, like, Tom's not here right now, but Tom's usually sat there. Tom, he's white. I would not treat them differently because of their skin color or their race. So all I'm trying to say is basically, at the end of the day, it's stupidity because you are making up something in your head. You are literally making this up in your head. You are making up that this person is lower than me because of their skin color, ethnicity, when realistically, we're all human beings and we all should be united as one. We're not different. We're the same.
Yeah, bro, it all stems back from Britain's colonial days, slave trade and all of that. That's literally where white supremacy began.
Yeah.
The reason why it began is because they had to tell themselves that they were supreme to any other race to make themselves feel better about what they was doing at the time. It's that simple. I was watching a documentary on Netflix. It's called 13. The 13. I can't remember the exact name. My camera gone funny.
Your camera's gone off.
Can't see you.
Yeah, just turn it back on. Don't worry. Continue what you're
Still
saying.
Still talking.
Yeah. Anyway, I was watching it last night, and basically, it talks about basically where what's the word I'm thinking of? Institutional racism, where it stemmed from. So, like, after the slave trade, when I can't remember the name of the movement. Basically, when America had to free all the slaves. I think it's about 3 million Africans were released, like, they was free in America, so that completely messed up the whole American economy, and like everyone was scared, and obviously, like, black people, they received a lot of racist abuse, and basically, to fix the problem, the American government, they created a law where basically, like, any minor little.
Okay, so that's cut off.
Isaac's having major connection issues.
Yeah.
Major connection issues. I mean, but going off that, institutional racism. He's back. What? So
this is a nightmare. I don't even know what's going on.
Bro, try to stop moving as well, because every time you're speaking, you can hear the background noise. You're not moving.
Yeah,
you're staying perfectly still.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
I
So
mean,
What
institutional
part did I get up to? Where
institutional
did I get to?
racism.
Sorry. Oh, okay, yeah, now so basically, um, fix. Did you hear what I was saying about when they had to free all the slaves into society?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so crashed the whole economy and everything. And to fix it, the American government created a law where basically any tiny little I can't remember the exact law. I only found that like learned about it last night, but it basically made it so that any little offense that these Africans was making in America, they could just send them straight back to prison or become slaves straight away again. So like that's literally where it's all stemmed from,
Yeah.
and because of the way that obviously the government now is completely different people, completely different times, but because of the way that the government then treated black people, the whole of society thought that that's how black people are. Obviously, you know how propaganda is. We've seen it in school in history with the World War II posters, like how they was like they like to lie to us from time to time to make us believe stuff. But yeah, I
so
believe that people are racist because they're told to be racist. And like in this day and age, it's not as easy as the government or for the system to just literally type racist. But like it's there. Like it's not. I'm not saying like it's literally happening, but because of the past, people are still pushing them kind of same mindsets forward.
Yeah. I think you cut off a
But I
little
say,
bit there, but we
yeah,
heard most
you're
of it.
having some sound issues, my
Yeah.
friend. You're
Yeah.
having
oh,
some
Most
sound.
we heard most of it though. But I mean, I
Yeah.
suppose
So
that. But I suppose that is like. I mean, that might be the way it works, but that's a theory, in it? Really.
yeah, nah,
yeah,
of course, but like
why are people racist though? Why? So I
it's
asked
literally a
some lads.
fear in it.
I asked some different people their opinions on why people are racist.
Yeah.
And these are the variety of answers I got. So, well, to be fair, I asked them. The two questions. So, why are people racist? What is racism? And sort of, you know, where does it come from, basically? And so I asked my mum. My mum, for people who don't know, is black. She grew up in Hadley, which everyone in Telford knows where Hadley is. It's a very multicultural place. She then moved to Trench in Telford, which is a very multicultural place. And this is what she said. So she said she grew up in a very multicultural place, as I feel like I've said that word a million times,
Yeah.
and it was the best for her. She said it was the best for her because all races mixed and grew up as friends. She said race didn't matter. She said that it's sad because it's taught and no one's born a racist. She said that she had someone who lived 2 doors down from her, and Pakistani family. And to be fair, the person who it is, I actually know his son. Like, it's such a small world. But she said that she didn't even know he was Pakistani until she was like an adult. She just thought he was Indian because it never mattered. It didn't whether she was Pakistani. You know what I mean? She said that it's just ignorance. She said, she's lucky that she's never really experienced it, but when she did, it was more when she worked at the hospital, so old people, the older generation, and that there was one time actually she was told to fuck off home, and her response was, "I was born in Shrewsbury, so where am I supposed to go?" Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's ignorance. It's ignorance. So then I asked her husband, who is a white man, and he said these were his words. It's daft. He said it's daft. There's no need for it. He said
Stupidity,
no
mate.
one's born. Yeah, he said no one's born racist. It's taught. He doesn't know why people are racist. People just don't like people who are different to them.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we're going on to his nephew. Daryl's nephew, a guy called
Hold
Reese.
on. Sorry, could I make a comment on what your mum said? So
Yeah, of course.
yeah, so basically, like, she said that she didn't even know whether he was Pakistani or Indian, and like, because it didn't matter. Yeah. Well, there's a similar situation. Like, this is gonna make me sound very dumb, and I'm still can't believe that it even went down like this. But basically, I grew up until about 13. I thought I was fully English. None of my family were from anywhere else. And I just didn't know any different, yeah? When I started getting of a certain age, I was like, well, hold on a minute.
Bless me.
My nan's
Sorry.
a bit brown. My
Bless
mum's
me.
a little, she's whiter, but she's still a bit brown. Like, what? What? So that's how little it mattered to me, really. It took me till 13 to even realize that I had different ethnicity in me.
Yeah.
That's how little it matters. That's literally how little it matters. From 1 year old till 13, I didn't know any different. That's how little it matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So then Reese, Daryl's nephew, he just said it's ridiculous. It's weak-minded. People don't like difference. My dad, he's a white man. He just said it's uneducated. It's people who are uneducated, hereditary. It's brought up ignorant, so they're just brought up ignorant to other races and other cultures. It's taught by parents, social upbringing. So he even said that some people do it for attention. He said that people see people racist being pictured as a villain, but getting attention for it, and they think, well, bad attention's good attention.
Yeah.
And he said, but it gets passed down. Another interesting one, someone could have just had a bad experience with one person of another race and tar the whole with that brush. But then an interesting view comes from a guy I know who lives in a predominantly white area, because obviously we live in Telford's not too bad, it's very multicultural. We have a joke that half of Telford's a bit racist, but it's not. Let's be honest. But this person comes from a predominantly white village that's quite wealthy. He says there's no black. If a black person's there, everyone's like, "Oh, what's this?" Which they're not necessarily racist. They're just like, it's unusual, which it shouldn't be. That's part of the problem. He said it's just lack of education. It's bullies who pick on the minorities and differences. So what? And stereotypes. Saying stereotyping is the worst. There's another girl who said that it's learnt stereotypes, which is the worst. The all Muslims are terrorists, all black people are criminals. Them stereotypes. All Chinese eat dogs. But what I want to put to you boys what I'm taking from all that is, does it all just come to education?
Yeah, I think the majority of it comes to education.
So what?
Well, I think,
because Isaac, you're obviously, like, people can't see you at the minute, but you have been in on video. You're a mixed race lad. To you, as a mixed race person, why do you think people see us, white people see us as so different just because of the colour of our skin? I mean, because at the end of the day, it's only the colour of our skin. Everything else on the internal.
it's just small-mindedness, and it goes back to the whole white supremacist mindset. I know people say it's theory, but what else can it be? If someone's racist, they think they are better than that person than that race.
Straight up.
So don't get it twisted. There ain't just white supremacists. You got black supremacists. There is other races that can be racist to other races. But in England and America, the two different sets of racism in it. You got the name calling and shit, and then you got this systematic racism, which is that's causing millions of people to live under oppression, and right now people are seeing the effects of it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I mean, and that brings it back to the whole, and you made a very good point, but it's not just a white to black problem, it's every race problem, because it's just a human problem. And what a lot of these people have said as well, and there were more who said, I just haven't reeled them all off, is people just don't like what's different to them. But it's not the majority, it's just some. So you have the higher class that want to keep the rich rich, which in this country in America tends to be white people, which they're predominantly white countries, back in the day. So it's keep the rich rich. Don't don't want it to change, don't want to share it with the others. And then so that's the top 5% who are racist. And then you got the bottom 5% who are potentially racist because they live in poor places that my dad said if someone grows up on a council estate, but it's full of Nazis, they're going to be racist. They're not they're rich, they're poor, but it's because what they're surrounded by. And that's only 10% of the population. You've got the 90% in the middle, so you've got the 5% at the top end who are the rich and privileged, who are a bit racist because they don't want change. The 5% at the bottom end are racist because they just don't like anyone else and don't have the education. Then you've got the 90% in the middle, which is like everybody else. You actually is just like, well, everyone's just the same and everyone's cool. Like
the majority.
But it's still not. But because of that, it's still there. And because it's that 5% at the top, that's where the systematic racism comes into it. And because it's that 5% at the bottom, that's where the name-calling racism comes into it and attacks. And then it all meets, all comes to a head. Then all the other races feel like they have to fight back.
See, the thing is with this whole like institutional racism as well. Like if you speak to a lot of black people, like first generation, second generation people, that's literally either them or their parents have migrated from these countries. They're like very what's the word that I can use? They're very upset about the fact that countries like England and America still they've apologized for slave trade. And don't get me wrong, I don't feel like it is necessarily like the current leader's responsibility to apologize for the past leaders' mistakes. But like if you look at the state, say Africa's in now, you could argue that that's because of the whole slave trade. And like I just feel like you look at like the whole like all the gold reserves around the world, like like most of that's come from Africa. Like they like the Western countries have literally I wouldn't say they've torn it apart, but like a lot of like their homeland has been stolen from them. And like I feel like they don't feel like they've been compensated for it. I don't feel like everyone personally should be compensated, but like there's been no real
poor as they are.
What's that, sorry?
The countries just shouldn't be as poor as they are.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like there's been no like not compensation, but like I feel like we should be doing a bit more to be helping these countries get back on their feet after what we put them through.
Yeah, it's right. I mean, look at the world nowadays, the resources and everything that we've got in this world. Why is there, to be honest, why is there still poverty? Why?
Yeah.
We've got more than enough resources to eradicate poverty, but yet it still exists. I want to know what the crap that is. To be honest.
Even little things like most of the soy that we produce on this planet that we consume as humans is produced in Africa. So why is there so much poverty and hunger? People dying of hunger in Africa?
Because it all gets taken out of Africa.
This is my whole point, bro. Like,
but that is that racism. That's just greed and wanting control.
Nah, I don't think it is. It's not racism. Racism as in like name calling racism, but you can see it as institutional racism because it doesn't happen to like they've picked who they want to do it to. It's one of them, and like you can't necessarily say it's race because there is no proof that it's race. Like it is just Africa. Like obviously there's white people that live in Africa as well, but. If you look at like South Africa,
it's a predominantly black continent. So
yeah, exactly.
I mean, So a few notes I made on the topic, preparing for this podcast, that were a few good points on how racism because my opinion is racism's programmed into everyone.
Yeah,
exactly. It's subconsciously
not
programmed.
into everyone. So and this one example, and it was actually Reese who said it yesterday, and I wrote it down. I thought it's a good way. So a lot of people know The Simpsons, watch The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Everybody on that show is yellow, other than the black guy and Apu, or is Apu the only black guy?
Nah, Apu calling it.
So why is he not yellow?
Same as like I ain't even gonna mention what I said to you boys yesterday because that's potentially like a whole different like podcast as well. But there is a lot of like conspiracies going around about like the media brainwashing us, and like obviously like it is all theories because like why would they want to do that for?
I mean, to be honest, my opinion on the media brainwashing is that 100% they do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Same.
Well, that's a different
believe
podcast. That's a
That-
different podcast.
It is a whole
Yeah,
other
that's a
podcast
different.
talking
That's a different
about
podcast.
how the media how the media brainwash everyone and how realistically we're all slaves. Let's be honest. You know, black people are mad.
I can't.
That our ancestors and everything used to be slaves. Realistically, everyone is now. So
Yeah.
exactly.
why don't we all just join together to just all be mad? The government, not one race.
Yeah,
Not be mad at
everybody.
the other races. But let's just all be mad at the system.
Mm.
Because the system's the problem, then there's institutional racism in the system. And I mean, Isaac said yesterday, where he lives now, which we're not going to say, but just in case people from there listen and go outside his house with pitchforks. He said that when he goes to the shop, he needs to have his hands on show. I mean,
Yeah.
that's sad.
Yeah.
And then I said, but we're lucky that in this country we only experience casual racism. Really, we haven't got it as bad. We haven't got it as bad as some places and people. Yet it doesn't. Why am I saying we're lucky to only experience casual racism? Like,
You shouldn't be.
you shouldn't be experiencing any racism at all. And you're not born racist. I've got a daughter. Isaac's got a son. They're not racist. They're kids. They're just everything's just great.
Yeah.
And then you slowly brainwashed, and it's
kids are the perfect example of how we ain't racist naturally.
Exactly, man. Look at the way us three grew up, man.
Exactly.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why. No, you're right. And that's why it's not as bad as it was. Let's be honest.
It's not as bad as it was.
Racism's still a thing. It's still disgusting. It's still bad as long as it exists. But we don't have it as bad as our parents would have. They don't have it as bad as their grandparents, like our grandparents. And we certainly don't have it as bad as our main ancestors because they actually were the slaves. So progress is clearly being made.
Yeah, it's definitely being made. It's just it could be faster.
People think that because racism still exists, there's not been progress. Whereas some it's being done right because there are more multicultural places. There's the internet helps because black people and Asian people are promoted more, do more things, more black movie stars these days, more black footballers. I mean, we said about there's racism in football. It's a people problem, not a football problem, but there's less. There's certainly less now than I hear stories about the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It was ridiculous.
Can I make a comment going back to what you said earlier, bro?
Yeah, of course.
So basically, when you said that Isaac has to we experienced the racism, whatever. But so going back to what Judge said about Isaac has to have his hands on show in a shop, right? So there's this shop down the road, and like me and Isaac used to go to this shop, right? Whenever I used to go into that shop by myself, I wouldn't get followed because basically I don't think they brought cameras. Maybe they couldn't afford it. I don't know. But so they just have a guy following you around in the shop. So whenever I went in there by myself, I didn't get followed. Whenever I went in there with Isaac, we were followed every single time. What does that tell you?
But I will ask you a question. Was the owner of that shop white?
No, he was Asian.
There you go.
So it's not just white people. It's not just white people.
It's a people problem. It's a
people problem.
Maybe I was just thinking. Maybe none of our governments or none of our leaders say anything because they know that, and they know that nothing that they say, like at the end of the day, all they can really do is like make harsher laws based around racism.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Nothing, but like I'd say, like maybe ban like media outlets from being able to generalize a whole race through a story, like a murder story or something. So like black man kills white woman. Like, they shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Yeah, that's stupid. I
Shouldn't-
think.
That shouldn't be allowed to be like one of the main references in like a headline, because that's what causes so much like tension between like the public. As far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned. You can read a
That
headline.
brings us,
You can read a
that brings
headline.
us in nicely.
Sorry,
I
what
think
was you
that brings
saying?
us in nicely, to be honest, to the whole can we and how do we eradicate racism? Things like that. So I'm a big believer of the way to eradicate racism is don't acknowledge race. And that's not me saying don't acknowledge racism. If you see because this is the problem, people are quiet. If you see someone be racist, acknowledge it, call it out.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time as well, don't acknowledge race. So like you just said with the media, if a headline, black man does this, white man
Yeah,
And
why does it matter what skin color
don't
they have? You know
acknowledge
what I
it.
mean?
the thing is,
People
we
make racist things.
we generalize people as like black and white, but everyone, we're not even all the same skin tone anyway. Like the thing that link us together is culture. Like that's what we should be like learning to embrace rather than color. Like
Yeah.
a lot of like me and George, we've grown up like we're mixed race, and so like we've grown up. I've grown up with my mum. My mum's white, so like I didn't really learn much about my culture growing up. My other half of my culture growing up, because obviously like my dad went around growing up. He's around now, but so like it's not until like recent years where I really started like wanting to like know more about my culture. So like I feel like a lot of like young people growing up like they don't really know much about themselves. Even a lot of like white people in this country now, like if they do do like the DNA tests and come back and tell you like what like percentage of what you've got in. I guarantee you like 95% of the people in this country, they've got more ethnicities in them than they believe.
Can I make a point on this as well, right? For anyone that's racist, right? Imagine this. This is not accurate, by the way, by any means. But let's say 5,000 years past now, and we're repopulating, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, it's going to get to the point where there isn't even going to be different skin colors. We probably will all start to look the same in the future.
Yeah.
In, like, say, 5,000, 10,000 years time, we would have... What's the word I'm looking for?
Crossbreeded.
Yeah, we would have crossbreeded enough to the point where there's literally not even gonna be like different races. Really, we're all just gonna be the same.
Me and Isaac are both mixed race, and I mean, if you go, I'm 26 years old, so I don't know what it was like 40 years ago, but I know. But one thing I do know is 40 years ago there weren't as many mixed race. It happened anyway, naturally. Mm-hmm. But then, I mean, here's an example of a way that potentially you can not eradicate racism, but how people can maybe really like. So my daughter, her mum's family, she won't mind me saying this, I don't think, because she knows it herself. She's told me they're racist. There's no argument about it. There's no debate to have. They are racist. Yet, knowing my daughter is quarter caste, and when they're around her and have her at family things, I know that they don't dislike her.
Yeah.
I know that they love her, and so then it's like, so why are you racist?
Yeah. It's weird,
but then it also so then you just hope it makes them think that. And it probably does, but then it's like it's okay to not be racist to her because I'm related to her. It's like the whole I'm not racist, I've got a black friend. And it's like you know, or you've got one black friend, and when you go to his house, do you say, "Oh, hi, my black friend"? David Williams in that video. Has anyone seen that David Williams video where he goes in and he's like, "Hi, my black friend. My other black friend's coming around," and he refers to because it's stupid.
No,
it's stupid.
Yes.
Why do you need to say that? You acknowledge in race.
Yeah, I know.
Mate, how about we just turn our skin upside down and then fucking nobody know the fucking difference anyway.
That's what I'm saying. It is ridiculous. Like, the thing is, like, it's one of them. Like, I speak to people, yeah, like a lot of people these days, and like they'll say they're not racist, and then they'll start like I'm British and half Jamaican, and say like we could be talking about anything now. Like a big topic a few years ago was the there's a few beautiful gangs around the country. Majority of these people running these gangs was Muslim. These are just the gangs that was exposed. So obviously, there's a lot of different gangs of different cultures, but these are the gangs that was exposed. And like, for some funny reason, people felt like it was acceptable to be racist about like Muslim people of Muslim like origin countries, so like people from Pakistan, and they feel like it's acceptable to be racist about them to me just because I'm not from Pakistan. But I still take offense to that because like seeing in my bastard, you're gonna be talking about this black bastard, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
so
Yeah, and that goes back to the whole sort of a lot of people are getting upset with people that say all lives matter.
yeah.
And it goes back to that. All lives do matter, and even
Exactly.
black people acknowledge that all lives matter. Black, white, brown, Muslim, Chinese,
And,
Asian, Indian, Arab, yellow, green, whatever you are. But the black people just be the face of it because ours is the most documented in the media
yeah.
right now.
yeah. You've had it
If
the
they
worst.
like if they'd just been a terrorist attack, the Muslims would be getting it all Muslims.
Yeah,
Even if the terrorists aren't Muslim, but they
Nah,
were,
this is the thing, bro. Like,
the
it's a
Muslims would be getting
terrorist.
it.
Yeah? Like, people don't even see it as a terrorist attack, bro. It's just some white man that went on a fucking mental fucking breakdown and started spraying up everyone. This is the difference when that guy was in America spraying up everyone from the hotel. No one seen that as a terrorist attack.
No, he's just off his head. He's just got
Yeah.
mental issues.
That guy literally broke record numbers of the amount of people he killed, I think. So, like, it's just one of them. It's craziness.
I want to make
But
a point.
it all goes back to the media and how they report it.
Yeah. I want to make a point on this. There's a lot of people arguing all over Facebook and social media and all that kind of stuff at the moment about all lives matter and Black Lives Matter. Like, at the moment, it's Black Lives Matter because once Black Lives Matter, then all lives will matter. At the moment, it's Black Lives Matter. And for all the people that keep saying, or like, basically, you're arguing with each other for no reason because I feel like the majority, like literally a lot of the majority of you, basically mean the same thing because you say all lives matter, which is yes, that is what it's saying. But what we're saying is, for all lives to matter, Black lives need to matter because of the situation. Like the protest started because of George Floyd in the first place, right? So that's why it's labeled as Black Lives Matter. Right? So you guys debating on Facebook with each other, to be honest, you're wasting your goddamn time because you both mean the same thing. You're just not like the main problem with human beings in general is we misunderstand each other. That's all it is, and this is what causes these debates and these arguments and this and sometimes violence. It's literally just misunderstanding. You need to take a step back and just put yourself in other people's shoes. And like going back to what we said earlier, right, about can we eradicate racism? Well, to be honest with you, I feel like it's going to take a very long time. I don't even feel like it's going to happen soon because there's too wait.
100 years.
I think it's going to be longer than that. I literally think what I said earlier about eventually we will all be the same color. I think it's going to take even till then because you can't expect everybody to be on the same mindset and to not be racist. You need to think. You need to put yourself in other people's shoes, and you need to take a different perspective on it. You can't just have your perspective. It's almost like. So yeah, like exactly what I'm saying. Really, you just need to put yourself in other people's shoes.
You know what it is though as well. Like we're all taught like different versions of history. Like you got people from America, they're taught like a version of history that's biased. Like it's in their favor basically. Like every single country that teaches their version of history, like it's always in their favor, like it's gonna be in it. So like, I feel like when people look back in history, yeah, like everyone's got a um different view of like how the world is anyway. So like you see the media, like they like obviously I don't think they're pushing an agenda, so to speak. I feel like they just know like the topic of race is an easy seller. People buy it, people click on it. Literally, as soon as they see something to do with race, people click on it. It's easy money for them.
Yeah, this is a completely different topic, but like the way money is the root of evil, because everybody's after it and they'll do whatever they fucking can for it, and it's just and it causes shit like this to happen, man. Because
no, because I was told a very wise person said to me, money is not the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil.
Yeah,
it's the love of currency.
You need money to live, because it's all right. Sorry guys, my phone is on charge because my battery is low and I'm trying to balance it and it keeps falling. But it's the love of money that's the root of all evil. You need money to live. I mean, no, okay.
No, but you should. But it's just something we created.
You shouldn't need money to live because it's created. But again, that's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, that's a whole other podcast.
And the
way the money system works is just it's literally it's a flawed system. But it's terrible.
Back to the racism. Can we eradicate racism and how do we? So the same people that I asked the question, a few of them, these were their answers. And again, you'll find a common denominator. And to be honest, it's a hard one because I didn't ask racist people. Do you know what I mean? So all these people I've asked, decent people who aren't racist. But at the end of the day, it's these people that need to be the ones getting the message out. And this is how they've all sort of said to eradicate the problem. So we've got, to be honest, my mum actually, as the black lady, said that we'll never eradicate it and we should just live our lives and mix with other races. And that a lot of people aren't actually racist. But it's just easy to say what you see. So it's like, you should never insult anyway. And this is what the main point is. People should just be kind. Because it's like, if you see someone, if you want to make, humans want to make themselves feel good, and the only way they feel like they can do that is by making someone else feel down, because then they feel they're better than them. So if someone's a bit overweight, you call them names. If someone's got an issue, you call them names. That's all it is with the skin. But it's like, well, what? Hang on, why are you better than me? Because you're different colours. So my mum says a lot of it isn't actually racism. You're just saying what you see, really. But she says you can't eradicate it. She says you can't eradicate it. It's a generational issue. Daryl says, to be honest, he said that it's getting better because back when he went to school, and he actually, so Daryl's my mum's husband, he went to the same school as us. We went to a Catholic school. People who don't know, we went to BRJ. So Daryl went there in the 80s, and he said back when he went, there was only one black person allowed in each year, and there was no Asians in the school. And we went, but when we went there, but when we went there, it was. So I mean, bloody hell, Isaac, we wouldn't have both been able to have gone there.
That's crazy. That.
And to be honest, Reese, neither would you, really.
Nah, probably not. Well, I don't know. I did look proper white when I was younger, innit? I don't know.
But so he said it's obviously got better. It maybe will phase out in generations. My dad says that it'll phase out over the next 100 years, but there will always be extremists, so it'll always be there. But a lot of it is mental health issues. But he says that as long as people can afford it, people will want to copy it. But my argument is that the people who are recording it, it's because it's happening. So, and then someone else says it's time, education, unity. We need to put time into it. It's going to take years, but as long as we keep pushing the message, you know, people are doing it now, sharing these posts all the time. But in a few weeks, are they still going to be? So if we keep doing it, it'll stop. Education, taught more in schools. You know, we're not taught about Black history in schools, Asian history in schools.
No.
Another person said we need to. People aren't educated enough to make unbiased opinions. Need more education. I've got a few lads. I've got a few. Someone else. You need to certain people in certain countries. So in this country, it'd be white people. Need to acknowledge their privileges that they have, even if it's minor ones. Like
like we haven't really touched down on that subject yet.
Calling people out for it again. Education. Someone else. Educate the kids and newborns. I'm not going to name these people. Just think, my mum and dad and Darren. I think the general thing is, it all comes down to education.
Yeah. Can I stem off that last comment you made? Because right, I don't know, like anybody who knows me and has got me on Facebook would have read my Facebook status the other day. But I'm going to repeat what I said. So for those who
don't have Facebook, so can you enlighten me?
Yeah. Okay. So, for those who don't know, I'm a big gamer, right? So, and I have been for forever, really. So I used to do YouTube back in the day. Like I used to upload montages to YouTube and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, there's a community within gaming, right? And it's getting massive. Like there's esports going on, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, on a platform called Twitch, there's a lot of racism, but people think it's funny. This is the problem, right? So it's not just, they're not even doing it in an aggressive way. They think it's hilarious. So they think it's hilarious to say the N-word, or I'll use a good example. So for example, if anyone doesn't know KSI is one of the biggest YouTubers in England. And basically he does this thing called One Question Go. So he'll be imagine I'm just sat in this channel by myself and Judge and Isaac aren't here. And I'll have people join one at a time and they can ask me one question, right? So they'll ask him one question and then just before he kicks them out to get the next person in, they'll say and like the N word multiple times at him, and he takes it really well. Like he might laugh it off sometimes, or like he makes his video better off it, but like he shouldn't be laughing, like he shouldn't really be laughing it off, because this is basically teaching the youth, the next generation, that it's funny to be racist, and we can't have the youth growing up with that mindset. That is going to be a major issue.
Laughing it off is one of them, because like that's just his reaction to it, innit? But I don't feel like he should be sharing him laughing at it. That's what's the bad thing about it.
Yeah, like he shouldn't laugh it off. He shouldn't laugh it off.
Because
at the same time, why should you not laugh it? Should you react violently?
Like I think that's what I'm saying. I don't think him laughing at it is a problem, but I feel like he shouldn't necessarily be like, by him uploading it. Yeah, like it's technically creating a trend for all these young kids. Exactly. So when they get a 1 second video, and a quick, you know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna get it in. So
people, and that I believe, to eradicate racism, not eradicate it, but make it happen less publicly, because people behind their doors and in their heads can think whatever they like. It just needs to not be public. Why make someone else feel shit because your opinions is to make them feel stupid, not be violent. Don't be violent, because that's not going to achieve nothing. You make them feel stupid. In fact, being racist, you laugh at them. Call them idiots. Like, make these people who are racist feel like the idiots that they are, and now soon, at least if they're going to do it, they're going to do it privately or with their racist friends. And to be honest, if a group of people want to sit in a room and be racist with each other, cool, as long as they're not hurting anyone. It's not cool, but do you know what I mean? It's when you, just because of your views, you make someone else feel shit for just... I didn't choose to be born mixed race. I don't mind that I have been. But I didn't choose it. So why do I need to make me feel shit because of it? Which luckily I haven't too much in my life. But George Floyd, man, you can't say he's died because of it, because again, it goes down to, did he die because he's black, or was it police? But a lot of people have died because of the colour of their skin. Why?
Going back to what you said earlier, it's actually ironic because it's a perfect example. You said make them feel stupid. So I was playing like a game of Valorant the other day, and I had this guy on my team. And I said something, and he said, okay, N-word. And I was like, mate, first of all, I ain't black. Second of all, have you not seen everything that's going on in the world at the moment, and you're still continuing with that stupid ass shit? And literally, as soon as I said it, he didn't speak for the rest of the game, I can guarantee you he felt stupid. So yes,
Yeah.
making people stupid does work.
Make them feel stupid. You just got to make them feel stupid. Let them know it's not okay. Also, it doesn't help that you've got musicians
Saying it.
and this and that in their songs, you know,
Then-
and jokes. And yeah, they're obviously not racist because they're that colour, but it makes it seem okay.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, I just feel like if you don't want people to call it you, then you shouldn't say it yourself. Like, it's like, it's one of them. Like, if you don't want that word to exist, don't fucking say it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's become that like commonly used now. Like, I don't really flinch to it unless like you can tell someone's like, if it's just in a joking manner, I'm not used to it. Like, I don't even turn my head no more.
I hate the word.
Same.
Word.
Personally, when I was younger, I'd probably use it a bit more.
But then I'm part of the problem because I hate the word, but I sing it in the joke. Going, do you know what I mean? And it's the society, and that's why it all comes back to it is just society we live in. It's a people problem. It's everything that's in the media, the way it's all controlled, and so I think the only way things are going to change is if it changes from where it begins, which is government change. Because let's be honest, right? We say there's not enough education. It's in the media. So there's not enough education, and it's in the media is the main issues, and systematic racism. Now, who controls school? Who controls the media? And who controls the system? The problem starts from the very top. From the very top, and it's because the people who are in power come from these privileged backgrounds. They come from these privileged backgrounds, which then means that only certain people from these privileged backgrounds are getting in the power and working their way up. So their ways are just going to filter into the system.
Like the thing is, like people don't like understand, like these guys at the top, like they have to keep us under control in it, because if for 1 second, like even half of the population realizes that like we can change all of our lives like this tomorrow if we really wanted to, like their game's over, like literally. But this, like obviously, we see a lot of stuff on. I see a lot of like different things on the internet, but it's one of them. Like, what can we do really? Like, we say like, should we or should we not protest? Because like, it doesn't really do nothing. Like, these people that were protesting, like, as long as we just keep protesting and it doesn't turn too violent, like, they're happy with it.
Exactly. And it doesn't make a difference. That's what I'm saying. The only real way to make a difference is start from the top and the bottom. So at the bottom, get it into the schools, get more education in the schools, make private schools more accessible to multicultures, and make the schools all schools more multicultural if possible. And then from the top, create more opportunities for multicultural people. I mean,
definitely.
There's so many surgeons, Asian and African and stuff, that actually there's a lot of black people and cultural people doing well. But so instead of the media always just highlighting it when it's a policeman killing a black person or black on black, why don't you highlight as well the positives, the black brain surgeon that was in a video that Isaac sent, who was the first person to split two twins, was it?
What was that? Oh yeah.
Black brain surgeon who split two Siamese twins from the head. First one. So many black people who've done great things that I can't even reel off now. But the amount of countless sports stars, movie stars, reality stars, even the odd people that are in government, you're starting to see some more people that are high up in big businesses, influencers, fashion art, everyone.
Yeah, there is a lot of successful coloured people, man, and they should be promoted so that people can be shown that it can be done, man.
Yeah, it's one of them, man.
Don't give up hope.
Part of our own problem. Are we part of our own problem because we already feel like we're 2 steps back because of the systematic racism, so we don't try to change it?
But the problem
We don't
is,
work as hard.
I mean, at the
the
end of the
problem
day,
is.
carry
Sorry,
on.
what were you going to say?
I mean, at the end of the day, this is all about equality, yeah. But if we're talking about equality, then in most cases, colored people don't really get the same opportunities that like privileged white people do. Like, you're gonna get more opportunities if you're privileged and white than if you're from the ghetto and black. I'm sorry, but that's
But we
just
talk-
the facts.
But we talk about equality. I am a believer. It's like people say to me, it's like Thomas Telford, right? I'm sure most people listening to this is going to be from Telford to start with, but most people in England might have heard of the school Thomas Telford because it's so good. And people go who went there don't necessarily do better than people who didn't, because you can just make of school what you make of school. It's the work. Like life is just, you get out what you put in, regardless of what colour and race you are. Grass, you'll get rewarded. But the problem is it seems like black people, mixed race people, Asian people need to graft harder to get there.
No, I feel like
Carry on.
I feel like it's more of a class issue, that one, rather than a race issue. Like, it could go to, like, say, Liverpool, Tuxteth, and like it's gonna be the same kind of like stuff going on there as it would in London. But you're gonna have 2 completely different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, even like if you go to like Glasgow and like there, like Scotland, that's mainly white people, but like they've still got the same kind of crimes going on, like same problems in the same kind of class, but same again, completely different culture. Like, I don't think it's necessarily a black issue, but
it's a people issue.
It's the way the media portrays it, and this is what I was saying. Like, this is what people are sick of. Like, they're sick of being made out to be like. It's like every time you see something in the media, it feels like you're being hit, and like if you keep getting hit, eventually. I've seen a video, like, it's literally the best way that I've seen someone break it down. It's basically saying, if you keep getting hit and you've got no way of hitting them back, and like everyone around just standing there watching you, eventually you're gonna do whatever you can to get your hit back, and everyone that's still there and watch is gonna feel your pain. That's literally what's going on now.
Yeah,
like, I don't feel like black people are necessarily being treated differently. I just feel like the way the media's portraying it, like, they know it's our stories, they know that and stuff. Like, obviously, I don't think they planned to do it. I just feel like they just took the opportunity after George Floyd. They've seen the protests and they just knew that they could cause a shitstorm all over the world. Like, look what's happening in London now. Like, it's literally the same kind of protests and turned into riots in London now. It's ridiculous, man.
And it's pointless. Like, the protests are pointless, but the violence is pointless. But you can see why. But is it just people? Is it just people taking advantage of the situation? I mean,
some of them probably.
What I see today, like, it just looks like a bunch of kids, like, and like, obviously, I can't speak for like. I can only speak for myself now. Like, when I was a kid, I probably would have been like getting excited about that kind of stuff as well. But like, everyone needs to realize, like, doing that kind of shit is just counterproductive, because you've got a lot of people that are willing to fight for Black Lives Matter now. Like, a lot of people that from different races, so like white people of all nations are coming together now. But that kind of shit is gonna tear it all apart, in my opinion.
Tear what apart?
Like the unity that we've got right now.
But if anything, it should make it better, because people are coming together to support the movement from different races. The problem is it needs to carry on. It can't die out. Because the main issue is just a people issue. Like you say, everything happens in all the same place, in all these different places. The same things are happening. It's just a culture thing. But the media portray it different. Seem to focus on portraying the race thing with black people. The main, and it goes back, we need to just stop acknowledging race, not stop acknowledging race and, support your own people, big up your own people, but also just big up everyone else. The main message, so the main point that everyone should just get and take, and what really needs to just happen, and we don't know if we will be able to ever eradicate racism fully and make change, but is people just need to be kind. People need to just not be nasty. It doesn't matter what you do, where you're from, what your circumstances are, what color skin you have, what hobbies you like, if you're overweight, if you're tall, if you're short, if you're skinny, nothing matters as long as you're just kind to others and you just live in your life.
Treat others how you would like to be treated.
Yeah, that's all you taught as a kid. Just treat other people how you want to be. That's all you taught as a kid. Just treat other people how you want to be treated. But then somewhere that goes out the window because you get your own needs and your own agendas. And so I think even though we'll never eradicate racism, reacting in violence is like, what's that saying? Kill him with kindness. Kill him with kindness.
Yeah, man.
Why be violent? Kill him with kindness.
It
makes him feel more stupid, because how can you be horrible to someone who's kind to you?
Yeah.
Someone's kind to me and then I'm horrible to him, I'll feel like a dick.
Yeah.
I think, why was I horrible to them? They were so nice to me. Like, do you know what I mean?
It's like I'm
be kind.
It's one of them. Like, it's easy for us to say that right now, but like someone that's going through like poverty and all that shit, and like oppression through racism, like it's going to be hard for them to be kind to any type of negativity, you know what I'm saying? Because
you can only change it yourself. Like, we're not rich. We're not rich. But the only way we'd ever get rich is if we just worked hard. No one wants handouts. It's like everyone wants handouts. It's like, black people have been oppressed. Of course they have. And systematic racism is real. Of course they have. But then it's like we want to just blame white people. Then it's like
it's not about blaming white people, bro. But the way the system is here, like the reality is, bro. Yeah, most of these black youths off the streets, like they can't go into none of these retail shops and try to get a job because they'll get laughed at, bro. Like, they have not been brought through the system to live like that. Their teachers and that, they gave up on them a long time ago. So like, even little things down to the way that half of these youths speak these days, like they don't speak proper English. They don't know how to speak proper English and hold like a proper conversation with these people when they're getting interviewed and that. So like, I don't know, like I feel like that comes down to community. Like, I feel like we have to make, like, all over the UK, all over every country, we have to make more of an effort to make sure that our younger generations are coming up properly, because like I feel like there's a massive gap between us and the previous generation, and even the generation like that's coming after us now. There's just massive gaps. Like I feel like priorities are changing massively. Like, I don't know, man.
So the main thing is then, lad. The main question is because I don't know how long we've been going for. I feel like we'll make it. We'll make it a wrap.
Yeah.
Is how do we eradicate the race? So everyone's saying it's education. It's down to education, unity to get. But it's all well and good saying it's down to education, but how? What do we educate? How do we educate? Do we teach more Black history? Do we teach more Black history and Asian history and even it out to educate, or do we just sort of?
I think they should be teaching
not
more.
Make it about race.
I think maybe both. Well, you can't really. True. You can't do both. One or the other would probably work, but we're not really doing either right now. So
exactly. No, they would both probably. you can't say they work. Like I say, there'll always be racism, but it's making it less public. They'd
It-
both probably
It'd
work.
help. It'd help.
How do you go about which one you decide to do and doing it? What like how do you suddenly make? How do you change a system that's been broken for so long? Because do we not think that these protests have been going on for years and years and years and years, and like I say, we're getting the gradual change. It's always going to be.
Really, I don't feel like there is change. I feel like they'll do things to make it less obvious. Like it's nowhere. Like for instance, like 20 years ago, like there was a lot more name calling, like because it was just more acceptable. This day and age, there's a lot less name calling, but they'll just find other ways to do it anyway. Do you know what I'm saying?
Maybe they just need to, like, call me crazy, but maybe they just need to do experiments, like with.
I don't feel like racism. I feel like racism, like this word's been created, like and it's been made into some big thing. Like racism, but like whether we like it or not, we're just primal animals in it. Like we've all got like something in us. Like we're all like, look, when you look at like tribes, for instance, like you look at tribes, like they don't just get on with everyone. Like as humans, I don't feel like we're supposed to get on with everyone, but the way that we've become like civilized now, innit? So like everyone's trying to do the best
well,
they can.
You say that, right? So all animals don't get on. So what was the example you used? It was a bit quiet.
Like tribes. So like say like tribes, like if the tribe comes up,
it doesn't have to be about race because
but my point is, like we've become, like we're told growing up that our tribe is England. Do you know what I'm saying? This is our tribe. Got another tribe in Pakistan now, another tribe in Africa, another tribe in this is like rather than just being little communities, like with the internet and the like just evolution with technology, like everything's just become a larger scale. Do you know what I'm saying?
But it still doesn't need to be about race as such.
Nah, but
what was you going to say about experimenting? Race?
Yeah, so let me elaborate on experimenting. So to be honest, right, as far what I've noticed over this podcast and over like some of the research I've been doing today is like we don't really understand what even causes racism in the first place, like in the brain. Do you know what I mean? Like what actually causes the racism to spark up?
This is my whole point. Like racism.
But that's what I asked. It's not why are people racist.
But hold on,
no one knows because
it's
through it. It's nothing in the brain. It's not in the brain. That's what
but that's what I'm saying. How are people developing? Because everything works off the brain, bro. You're racist in the brain, bro, subconsciously.
No, but
so
you're not born it.
No, exactly. You're not born it. So how does it develop? How does it develop?
No, because your brain's taught to be racist.
Exactly. So how is that happening?
Your brain doesn't develop it; it's taught it by people. Like, obviously, it started from someone not liking someone different to them. So, like, oh, hang on, you're different.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
Literally, and this is what I'm talking about when it comes into primal instincts, bro. Like, this is how animals work, in it. Like, you have your communities, and like,
exactly. But
what I'm saying
is, still shouldn't matter because regardless of it's like animals don't like other species of animals.
Yeah,
you get the odd one that's the same species that you want to fight for territory. So fight for territory, but all humans are the same species. So
yes, I understand that, but you could say the same thing about lions.
Hang on, it makes sense because you have because you're fighting for the territory. What's race got to do with that? We're all still human.
No, but this is my point. Like we've been literally brainwashed to become this civilization, and literally like we're like slaves to the higher uppers. Theoretically, like obviously not in reality, we're not literally like slaves, but racism, it's not literally something that's racism is just a word. Like
How do we eradicate it? How?
Media, bro, I'm telling you now, like racism, it hasn't just literally hundreds of years ago, racism wouldn't have been a thing. It literally would have been communities fighting other communities. We've been literally programmed to not like people based on their skin because there never used to be countries like before civilization. There's
Nah,
no
yeah,
such thing as a
but how do
country.
we stop it? But how do we stop it?
Literally, like stop allowing the people that are pushing. Like, well, this is a theory. What that I'm saying right now. I'm not trying to push no agendas or nothing, but I feel like if the media stop, if the government stop the media from being allowed to just use ethnicity at their leisure. So, like, say someone gets killed, they shouldn't just be allowed to use the race on the headline. Fair enough, if you want to put the details in the actual, what's the article, and like put the actual proper detailed explanation. So, because there's so many misleading headlines in this day and age, it's just ridiculous. Like, I know for a fact most people don't even read the articles most of the time. They'll
So
see the headline and share it.
Raheem Sterling called it out one time. He's a big advocate for it, and he put 2 newspaper articles up. It was maybe last year or the year before about 2 young Manchester City footballers. One's white, one's black. They're both young Manchester City players. So people who aren't into football, Manchester City are a well-playing club. Both of these young players are on over £10,000 a week.
Yeah.
Is of course enough to buy a house. So so they both bought their mum's houses. The article for the white baller was along the lines. I don't know if you can find this. If you just put in Raheem Sterling calls out newspaper racism, because the one headline was along the lines of footballer treats his mum to a house, and then the other one
Sterling what?
Calls out newspaper racism, and then the other one was along the lines of young Man City player buys £1 million mansion despite playing first team game.
Yeah.
And that's the black player, but really, and Sterling called it out saying, well, if you look into it, they're both just young players on money buying their mum's houses.
Yeah.
What's it matter if he hasn't played a
post.
football
This
game?
is
Get it
the
up, and
I'm gonna put
I'll put the
post up on.
and then I'll elaborate a bit more.
So if anyone actually wants to read through
lines
this,
of
just
it.
pause the video if you want. Like, I'll scroll down. If you want to read at any point, just pause. But that is the article on it.
Not on the screen.
Yeah, trust me. It's not for you because I didn't screen share it, but it's on for the viewers.
Okay, so
Okay,
so I can't see it, guys, so I can't talk you through
Yeah,
it.
neither can I.
Right, okay. I'll tell you what. I'll put it right. Okay. I didn't think you actually wanted to look at it like that and then go over it like that, but okay.
Yeah, because I couldn't really remember. So
Wait, hold on, wrong one. Where's it gone now?
yeah, so
Yeah, but this is what
Right, give me a sec. Because
race seems to me like it's something that's been created to control the masses. Like, not literally control the masses, but like there's always going to be some form of hate. Well, that's just the way. Like,
can you see
I'm
that?
not.
yeah, right. So here we go. So there we go. So young Manchester City footballer, 20, on 25 grand a week, splashes out on mansion on market for 2.25 million, despite having never started a Premier League match. And that's a black player. And then where's the other headline that they put? White player.
Do you want me to get a different link up?
Should be on there.
They both come up.
Eh?
They should have both been there. But anyway, so as you can see, Sterling go down.
That is crazy though, isn't it? Didn't even play a Premier League game.
So Sterling called it out. He used the example of Manchester City teammates, Adebayo, who is black, and Foden, who is white. He provoked the evidence from the Daily Mail, the country's second largest tabloid, and its accounts of the 2 players buying homes for their respective mothers. So they're both buying houses for their moms.
Yeah.
So the black. So even
This is my whole point, though. Look,
even though he's not made an appearance for the team, still just being humble and buying a house for his mum, but they try to make him look bad.
yeah.
They should be just praising them both. That they.
This is what I mean.
But they didn't mention his colour. They don't have to mention the colour. It's the way they manipulate the headline. And the only way to eradicate the racism, things like that, people like Raheem Sterling, these celebrities and black people in power, it's all well and good it's all well and good. All the commoners going and protesting, but it's the black people in the limelight. It's people like Raheem Sterling, not just footballers, actors, your Denzel Washingtons, your
the
Morgan
bro needs to
Freeman.
go deeper than that.
Everyone in power who's black needs to be calling it out and sort of highlighting it, but it's like they don't want to because they know the media can ruin them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And there's nothing more powerful on this planet than the media. That's
100%.
fact. Look at everything that happens in the world.
But that's another podcast about the media in terms of racism.
Yeah.
How do we believe we can eradicate it?
In terms of racism, yes, I do think we can, because I feel like racism is just something that's been made up. It's literally something that's just been made up. Not necessarily I don't know why it's been made up. It's literally someone at some point has sat down and thought, you know what, I don't like him because of his skin color. Or I'm gonna teach my kid not to like him because of my skin color. Do you know what I'm saying?
There's still the stream window's still on.
It's not. Yeah, I think you have to click off it, bro. It's not something that's natural to us. Something that's natural to us is the not hatred for other people, but obviously it's natural not to get on with everyone. That's one of our natural instincts. That's why there's some people say serial killers and they don't know why they want to do it. They're just people that haven't been able to adapt to civilization, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I mean,
society
was created, and
when you think about cavemen and that, they would have literally, if a caveman came across another caveman, it would have been literally a war to the death, probably.
Yeah, probably, to be fair, but that's unintelligent. And now,
yeah, we're too intelligent to be racist. People should be too intelligent to be racist.
I mean, we got to the point now where we're all intelligent enough. We all get we clearly.
Yeah, that's how we can live in this civilization quite well, but there's still the odd person that isn't quite wired to be this civilized yet.
So can we eradicate it? Do you think?
I don't think we can.
I think we can eradicate racism. I think if we try hard enough, we could eradicate racism.
Try hard enough. Yeah, if we try hard.
But I don't think we'll eradicate the flame that fuels that fire. I don't think we'll eradicate that. We'll just move on to something else.
I think we need to find out what the main cause of it.
I don't think there's gonna ever be world peace. For racism to be gone, there has to be world peace.
Yeah, just going back to what I said earlier, I just think we need to find the main cause, because there is something triggering something in people's fucking heads to think I'm better than you because of your skin color. Yeah. And whatever that is, we need to try and counteract it. I don't think we fully understand it.
Sorry, bro. Watch that documentary 13. It's on Netflix, but I said it a bit. I watched it last night when I was half asleep after we was having that big chat yesterday. But it's very factual. It's gonna open your eyes to how a lot of this is stemmed from. I don't think it's all stemmed from it.
It's where it's stemming from. We can't change that. It's stemming.
Nah, but this is what I'm saying.
This is part of the problem. Too many people are looking at where it's come from, what's happened in the past. We need to start looking forward. How do we eradicate it? You
need to look at the problems. My point is, I'm not talking about the slave trade. I'm not talking about nothing that white people have done. I'm talking about the way that the media switched the whole population.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying in general. Racism's here, regardless of where it stemmed from. It's here.
This is what I'm saying.
How do we change it though? How do we get rid of it?
Through the media.
Yeah, I want to make an
argument. The media are the ones that, if you do your research, bro, you'll soon realize the media are the ones that.
But we can't. It can't just be media. We can't just focus on the media. It can't just be media. This media, there's other way. Because if the media might change. The media might.
I don't know.
Still the racism.
There's gonna be no way. There's no way that people. There's no way that we're gonna be able to tell everyone not to listen to the news over just any random.
There's a lot of racist people who don't even probably go on listen to the media.
No,
They're
but
racist anyway.
yeah, they're racist, but like bro, it's not easy. Like all you have to do is go on Facebook now, yeah, and you'll see like within like 5 to 10 scrolls, you'll see at least 4 or 5 headlines. Like a majority of these headlines these days is negativity. Like
Yeah, they are.
it's easy. You don't even have to go and watch the
That's
news
not
or to
all
see the news.
racism. That's not all racism. But
Nah,
you
it's not.
certainly get rid of the
Hold on.
racism.
Can I stop this back and
How
forth a
do you
minute?
think we get? How
Yeah,
do you
what
think
do
we
you
get rid
think?
of it?
Let
Because
me
I can't get a word in here, right? Basically, so you know what you said earlier about look. So I agree with what you kind of said earlier, Judge. Like we shouldn't be looking back and we should be looking forward. But so like that, I'm just going to use IT for an example because I'm an IT technician. If you're figuring out a problem, you need to figure out the source of the problem to deal with that problem. So you need to go backwards and figure out where did that problem come from to then find the solution to fix the
Exactly.
problem.
Like,
So
No, I'm not. I'm acknowledging we found the problem. But what's the solution? We know. So how do you? So it's all well and good saying we change it with the media. How?
no, but I mean, what
yeah,
caused
but
the
this,
problem? What
bro,
caused the problem in
no
the
one,
first place?
literally, the whole reason why there's riots right now, people are literally going nuts is because no one has a fucking clue what to do anymore, bro. Literally, like it's gonna.
Oh, we lost Isaac. Yeah, no,
I
I
think the
did.
only
But
way we can eradicate racism. Well, no, actually, no.
Yeah,
Because Isaac did ask me, I will give my opinion. You know, I've tried to sort of, and and for the people watching, you know, it's a tough first podcast to come in on because
yeah,
you
it
know
is.
yeah, it is.
we're going to be talking about a variety of different subjects, and they're not all going to be so taboo. Like this is a
Yeah,
tough one, so it's what's going on at the minute. It's what everyone's talking about. We need to talk. We need to address it. We need to just talk about it. Get our opinion. There's no right and wrong. There's no
yeah, it's opinions.
no. Let me rephrase. When I say there's no right and wrong, being racist is wrong.
Yeah, it is wrong. Of course, it is.
But in terms of your opinion on how you think we've got not heated, but we've got back and forth. There's no right and wrong. You know, everyone has their opinion. You know, there's so many avenues to it. It's ridiculous. And Isaac asked me how I think we can eradicate it. If I think we can, I've been listening to what you boys have been saying. You know, I've had my notes. It's such a big. I mean, we've been talking for how long? There's so much we haven't touched.
Yeah,
So
this
this
is
is the
more
thing.
we can talk about.
This one was literally dreading this podcast.
My personal opinion is that we can't eradicate racism. And again, this is my opinion. I'm not right, but I'm also not. My opinion is we can't eradicate racism because, like I've said, people are always going to have their thoughts. They're always going to want to make themselves feel better and make other people feel down. And people are always going to not like what's different. Which, even though we're all human, as long as they see different color and religion is another one. As long as it's different, they're going to find something to not like. And I think the only way we can make change is, like I said before, make them feel stupid. Ignore it. Not ignore it. So call it out if you see someone being racist. But you've got to, when a headline, my phone's dropped again. When a headline, like, just call it out. Call the racism out. And then just ignore race. So when I'm saying ignore, I don't mean ignore racism. I mean ignore race. Call the racism out when it happens. So when the media are put, like Raheem Sterling done, call things like that out. It's like, hang on, why are you putting different to them? Because they're black and them to their white. But then in terms of actual race, we don't need to acknowledge race. Like Isaac said, it's culture. You acknowledge culture.
Yeah.
Acknowledge where you're from. Acknowledge the people around you. Don't acknowledge race. Be proud of your race, and be proud of your race, and be proud of the history of your race and what the race has done and what they've been through to get where they are now. Because we are still in a much better position than our ancestors. Let's not forget that. But let's stop making it about race. Let's stop it. Let's make it about race, but let's make it about the human race.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Health is wealth. Health is wealth. Kill him with kindness. be healthy, happy, think positive. Why do people need to think negative about others just because they're different? Embrace difference, learn from it,
Yeah.
That's
Nah,
my
I know, like, but like, I feel like most people don't want to be like that, bro. But like,
no, but I'm just saying that's how I
How?
believe it'll change. But that's why I also think we
yeah,
should never
yeah.
eradicate racism because, like I say, most people don't want to be like that. But as long
In
as
order,
the majority do, and then a bit more, and then a bit more, then I think eventually, it's gonna be slow progress. But slow progress is progress because that's like even if it takes 1,000 years. We're still gonna have distant relatives in 1,000 years. So if they benefit from these small baby steps now, okay, then that's
yeah,
fine.
no, it's,
But I do think we need to call it a day because this subject.
Yeah, hold on. I got one more thing to say. And I think I forgot it actually. Fuck. Hold on. Wait, I was gonna say something. Shit. Yeah, it's gone. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's gone.
And
It's gone.
I think
Better get used to that.
there's been a lot of back and forth and probably a lot of going in circles, really, because that's all that's been going.
so
That's
like
all
that's
that's
the
been
thing.
going on.
That is the thing with racism. Like you go down one venue, you can find five other things, and you end back to square one. You go to a different venue, like
Nah, but
it's literally.
this is what I was about to say. They've been going in circles, but because that's what the world's doing. And let's be honest, how many times has this happened? How many times has a black person killed at the hands of policemen? Everyone's kicked off for a bit, and then it calms down. And so that's why this time we need to make sure, not that it doesn't calm down. We want it to calm down in terms of we don't want it to be as violent, but the message that people have been so great in preaching the last few weeks, it can't just stop when people forget about George Floyd after his funeral and after the votes has happened.
Now, you know what? Like, I don't even make this about George Floyd. It's just about racism in general.
Huh?
Like, I was saying, I don't even want to make it about George Floyd. Just racism in general.
Nah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
People need to not make it about George Floyd, and they need to make it about racism, which is an everyday thing. So don't about George Floyd, forget about racism. I seen something today. People were protesting and they were chanting George Floyd's name. No, you shouldn't really. It's not. Yeah, George Floyd issue.
That's his life, isn't it?
But it's about racism. Racism. So, to be honest, the message that we're getting out there really is just be kind. Educate each other, speak about these subjects, and just be thoughtful of others. Be thoughtful of other people.
Judge, the questions you asked the people, the questions that you read out earlier. What are those questions so that people can comment in the comment section below and we'll read?
Yeah, so the questions were just sort of what is racism? Why are people racist? How can we eradicate racism? Can we eradicate racism? It's such a topic. People need to get talking. People get talking in the comments on here. Do it. Answer them questions. Get discussing. Share the message. And we're going to break this video down into smaller segments, so that certain messages are just there for you. If you don't have time to watch the whole in one go and you want to hear about something, we will do that. But the main message is, just be kind, be thoughtful. It's not about race. We're all human. We're all the same. We need to constantly acknowledge what's going on, not just forget about it in a few weeks. Keep sharing the posts. Keep supporting the movements. Do it peacefully because we don't need other people losing their lives. Like George Floyd's life shouldn't have been lost, no matter what. Yeah, he might, whatever, but his life shouldn't have been lost. But now we're hearing of people losing their lives because of protests. Keep it peaceful. Everyone stay safe. Thank you, to everyone who's watched and listened. I don't know what Reese is holding up there.
It basically just says hashtag Black Lives Matter.
Yeah. and they do, but as well, and you know, life is the most important thing. Lives shouldn't be lost. Color of your skin. For you know, everyone should have a chance to just live their life the best they can, to be able to live their best life, which, you know, unfortunately a lot of people can't because of the systematic racism and the system. Let's make a change, you know, just keep the message going. It's
probably not going to be like an overnight change, but we need to start making gradual steps, and like
we might not even see it in our lifetime. But if
and
our
you stop attacking the wrong people as well.
If our grandkids can see it, and, you know, if we can get this message out there, that everyone, colour doesn't matter. Colour doesn't matter. All that matters is living your life as full as you can, as great as you can. And we want to thank everyone for the support already on the podcast. We've got plenty of things we want to talk about in the future. Plenty of people who are going to be coming on and guesting in a more interviewed type structure, and a lot of general chat. If there's things that people want us to talk about, and even if there's things that you feel like we haven't spoke about on this one, because I'm sure it's like, you know, Reese said earlier about doing another racism one, getting some opinions after we spoke about it and doing another racism one, and I was thinking, shall we? But then Isaac also made the point that it's going to keep going on. We do need to keep talking about it every now and then. So if there's things that you feel like we haven't covered on the topic, and even personal experiences and how more people, their opinions on how we think it can change. Comment, get discussions going, share the video, like the page, subscribe.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys.
Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed. And we hope you've learned, and we hope we hope you take something from this, even if it's only better than